Nostalgic song evoking domestic intimacy and the everyday pleasures of home despite material poverty. I remember when we used to sit in a government yard in Trenchtown and Georgie would cook porridge and so. This song, which becomes in this misreading an almost misogynist homosocial rejection of the company of demonized woman, because no woman, no cry, in that construct, woman becomes synonymous with grief. Now, all the words of the line, no woman, no cry, appear to be monolingually English. But in fact, in this context, the syntax of the sentence confirms that the language is not English at all, but Jamaican. Further, the grammatical function of the two no's is not at all identical. The first no is an interjection, no, woman, don't cry. And the second is a command, no, don't cry. So that the largely English-derived vocabulary of Jamaican Creole can sometimes disguise meaning if the grammar and syntax of the sentence are not also taken into account. And I have to confess that the problem of mistranslation in this instance was compounded by faulty transcription of the lyrics. And this is another important issue, that sometimes the record companies in the old days would send out a record with dust jacket that just had bad transcriptions on it, and this helped to confuse the German audience in this case, because on the record jacket of the original Island Records release, the comma is omitted after the first no. No, comma, woman, no cry. And this omission of the comma created a simplistic parallelism of structure that supported the assumption that no woman equaled no crying. Now, another anecdote illustrates the problematic politics of not so much mistranslation as mishearing. Soon after the publication of my first book, Noises in the Blood, I got a congratulatory letter from a well-intentioned North American academic, not a German this time. He found the book illuminating, but he did wonder if I hadn't made an error in the transcription of one of the lines from Bob Marley's Redemption song.
Ships, minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit, but my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom, 'cause all I ever had.
What my North American academic colleague wondered about, the line, "we forward in this generation triumphantly," the correction he proposed was what he had heard. We flowered in this generation. Now, that flowery misreading, eliding all of the culture-specific Rastafari resonances of Marley's forward, transposes the song's politically charged message into another, less threatening key. Now, though the horticultural trope, the flower, like the militaristic forward, does in fact denote potency, the connotations are decidedly not the same. The meaning is in the metaphor. Now, it is precisely this kind of what I call cultural hubris that provokes border clashes between insiders and outsiders in dancehall scholarship. And just last month, an interesting article came out from the Institute of Social Studies, The Hague, in which a young scholar suggested that Harry Potter could provide a model for interpreting dancehall. And she used the issue of Harry Potter and the golden egg. And she said, you know, you have to go, Harry Potter had to go underground, he had to submerge the egg before he could decode its meanings. And perhaps cultural critics like Carolyn and Donna Hope were too far under the water to be able to fully interpret dancehall culture accurately, and you needed people above the water to talk to the people under the water in order for us to be able to understand dancehall. This is the kind of thing that happens all the time. Now, I'm not saying that non-Jamaicans cannot understand and interpret dancehall culture accurately, and on this score I have to big up Riddim, Ellen and Pete for the fantastic job that they've been doing to make Jamaican dancehall culture, reggae more generally, available to non-Jamaican audiences, but also to Jamaicans. I've learned a hell of a lot from Riddim, you know. And I keep telling them I'm a bogus reggae authority. You guys know more on the ground of what's going on in Jamaica, because you come here, you go to the inner city communities, you do a lot of the underground research that I'm not doing from the university. So I don't want you to misunderstand what I'm saying, but I'm just saying that sometimes there's a kind of cultural arrogance that makes people outside feel that they know you even better than you know yourself. So this idea then of the clash, the border clash, is something that, as Ellen said, I got from Ninja Man's tune by the name of Border Clash. And I took up that metaphor as a way to talk about contestations for power within Jamaican society, clashes across race, and even Jamaica color, class, but also to look at contestations across the Jamaican nation state and international culture, which is bringing us very gradually to the whole issue of homophobia and the representation of Jamaican culture outside of Jamaica. So it seems to me that once you understand this idea of the clash, you can recognize that in cross-cultural communication, there's often the possibility of a clashing of ideas and a clashing of interpretations. So using this idea of the clash, I want to explore the politics of globalizing transgressive popular music from a small island while simultaneously attending to the big issue of language crossings in multinational, transnational music cultures. And I now want to bring in my selector, Buju. It's not an easy road, and really this talk is dedicated to Buju because he has been a champion out there in the struggle, and everybody must know that he's languishing in prison in America in circumstances that the Jamaican Massive said is a setup. You know, I mean, we are completely irrational on this score. As I've committed myself in print in my newspaper column to say, if me even see the video with him smelling the cocaine, me going to say I know him. It's not an easy road.